Jason and Fiona were high school sweethearts, the kind everyone envied. They grew up together, built dreams together, and saw the future through each other's eyes. Their story began on a rainy afternoon. Fiona came home from school to find her house locked. No note or any sign of her parents. Confused and anxious, she walked through the drizzle to Jason's house, hoping it was just a mix-up. Hours passed. Still no word from her parents. Around 6:30 p.m., a piercing scream echoed through the neighborhood. Jason, his parents, and Fiona rushed outside. The sound led them, chillingly, to Fiona's home. Inside, her mother and aunt were crumpled on the floor in tears. Fiona's heart sank. Her eyes darted around the room, desperately searching for answers. "Where's Dad?" she asked, her voice trembling. Her aunt stood up slowly, tears pouring down her face. "Fiona, your dad, he's gone." Just like that, Fiona collapsed. Earlier that day, her father had suffered a heart attack. By the time he reached the hospital, he was already gone. Fiona and her dad were inseparable. She was his pride and joy, his little girl. Losing him felt like losing the air she breathed. The funeral came and went in a blur of tears, but Jason and his family stood beside her, never wavering. Back at school, Jason became her rock. He helped with her notes, her assignments, and most importantly, her healing. The bond they shared deepened, wrapping around their grief like a lifeline. Her mom adored Jason like a son, and his parents embraced Fiona like their own. Before we continue, please show your support by giving it a like. It truly helps the channel grow and reach more hearts like yours. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss a moment of the stories we share. Thank you for being part of this journey, it means the world to me. Back to the story. 6 years flew by. Jason became a successful architect, running his own construction company. Fiona, now a brilliant lawyer, worked at one of the country's top law firms. They were thriving together and stayed unbreakable. One evening, Jason noticed Fiona had become distant, overwhelmed with stress. He knew she needed a break and planned the perfect escape. He booked her a first-class ticket to Santorini, chose a luxurious hotel overlooking the Aegean Sea. "Have fun, babe," Jason said to Fiona as she packs her bag. Santorini was everything she didn't know she needed. The views, the peace, the silence. Then, she met Daniel. He was older, calm, with kind eyes and a quiet passion for art. They talked about loss, love, and life. It was innocent, until it wasn't. On the third night, they met for drinks. One laugh led to another. Then dancing. Then, darkness. Fiona woke up the next morning in Daniel's bed, the taste of guilt sharper than any hangover. "No. This didn't happen," she whispered, gathering her things with shaking hands. She booked an early flight and returned home, trying to shove the memory into a box she'd never open again. Jason greeted her with warmth and concern. "Hey babe, you okay? You're back early." Jason's voice was soft, warm. The kind that usually wrapped around Fiona like a hug. But today, it pierced through her like a blade. "I missed you," she replied with a trembling smile, trying to mask the guilt that twisted deep in her chest. She kissed him lightly, her lips barely brushing his cheek, heart pounding like a war drum. Days turned into weeks. The guilt didn't fade, it grew louder. Fiona couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. Her laughter felt hollow. Her reflection, unfamiliar. And then, the nausea started. She conducted a pregnancy test. Alone in the quiet of their bedroom, Fiona watched in stillness as the test results shows it's positive. She is pregnant. Her breath caught in her throat. She should have felt joy. But all she felt was dread. Because deep in her soul, a question pulsed louder than her heartbeat. Was it Jason's? Or Daniel's? The man from that night, that single, foolish night when loneliness met vulnerability and turned into a mistake she would give anything to undo. Panic crashed over her like a wave. What would she say? How could she ever tell him? But fate didn't give her a chance to plan. As Jason walked in, just as she appeared frozen, the test in her hand, eyes glassy and wide. He saw it before she could hide it. His face lit up like sunrise. "We're having a baby." His voice cracked with joy, his eyes shining with emotion. She broke. The weight was too heavy. "Jason, I have to tell you something." And she told him. Everything. The night. The man. The truth. The possibility that the baby he was celebrating might not be his. Silence fell like thunder. Jason didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just stood there. Still. Hollow. His expression melted from joy to devastation, like watching someone die with their eyes open. He walked past her, each step echoing in her ears louder than any scream. No words. No goodbyes. Just the sound of the front door closing behind him, and her world crumbling with it. Now, everything hangs in the balance. And now. Jason sat alone in his car, hands gripping the steering wheel, eyes glazed over with pain. The silence was deafening. His chest rose and fell in uneven breaths, the weight of betrayal pressing down like a mountain. He had everything planned. 2 weeks from now. Fiona's birthday. The perfect dinner. The ring tucked in his coat pocket. A moment he'd rehearsed in his mind 1,000 times. He was going to propose. To the woman he believed would be the mother of his children. The love of his life. His forever. But now, all that remained was a shattered heart and a question that burned through his soul. Does he forgive her? Or walk away from the woman who once held his whole heart in her hands, only to let it slip and break? Tears filled his eyes, but he blinked them back. So here he sits, torn between the past they built and the future that just crumbled. If you were Jason, what would you do? Would you stay and try to rebuild what's broken? Would you hold on and wait for a DNA test? Or walk away to protect what's left of your heart? Share your thoughts in the comments below. You never know, your thoughts could be the lifeline, comfort, or clarity someone out there is desperately waiting for. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of our next stories.